Hello, we're sitting here in beautiful Burnt Island and just wanted to do a little video about why we moved to Scotland, I guess, why we've stayed.
It's the sunshine, of course, right?
It's beautiful right now.
Yeah, it's been really nice here the last few weeks, but yeah. Why did we move to Scotland, Anna?
I guess it all started with your mom, right?
My mom?
Yeah. She was the one who, Justin had just graduated from the University of Arkansas and he got a spot to do a master's program in Texas.
Yep.
Which school?
It was University of Texas, Arlington.
Okay. And so we had all these grand plans. We had 2 little kids. Laurel was 1, I think, and Maggie was like 2.5 or something. Moved down there, found an apartment really fast. It was kind of expensive though. It was like $1,000 a month. We're like, we don't know how we're gonna pay for it, but we were planning on Justin getting all these scholarships and
Really decent savings at the time too.
yeah, it was just that was the start, I guess, of
Nothing worked out there basically. So found cockroaches. The whole place was infested with cockroaches.
oh, there's the train.
Here comes the train.
So we were in Texas.
Yeah.
Everything was going wrong. The job that Justin had before he moved down, like he had found a job and he was excited about it, but it just didn't turn out to be what we thought it was going to be. Kind of felt a little
shady.
Yeah, so that didn't work out. I couldn't find a job. He couldn't find a new job. Yeah, the moment we moved into our apartment, it was infested with cockroaches, called German roaches.
When we went and looked at it, it was actually a really nice place.
Nice community. There was a pool and everything. We were excited.
Nice, yeah.
It was horrible though. We ended up having to break our contract.
We were living in Irving.
We left.
Irving, Texas. So.
Anyway, I was kind of like, we're just gonna figure it out. We felt like we should come here. It's gonna work out. We're just gonna push through it. And Justin was kind of like, I don't know, maybe something needs to change. So we talked about it. We prayed about it. I think Justin's mom had mentioned, why don't you look at doing a graduate program overseas? Like, you don't have to stay in the U.S.
Yeah, she's originally from the Netherlands, so I had recent ties back here to Europe, so it's like, okay. One night I just kind of started looked in Germany. That was the main place she told me to look. She said there was a lot of programs in Germany that you can do in English, so I looked over there. Didn't have any of the programs I wanted or was interested in, so I felt like I should jump over and see what kind of the English-speaking countries had to do. So first place I looked was Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland, and found a couple programs I liked. Then jumped over into England, had a few programs there that I liked, and then once I settled, I found 2 programs or a few programs here in Scotland that just was like boom, like something that just stuck out, like this is where I should be looking.
And then at the time, we weren't really talking to family about it because we're like, this is a crazy idea. None of our family lives overseas. Like, what are we doing? And then we decided...
We're not from... Well, your dad, he made a decent living doing computer chips and stuff like that, but I don't come from money. We're not rich ourselves. So a lot of times because at the time, I was thinking, the only people that go and live overseas are people with money, can work online, that type of stuff. So it's just
yeah, you see influencers who are we work from home, we can live wherever we want. We're like,
they're living in these lavish places.
We don't. We live in a small flat. It's way too small for us. We need a bigger space. We have no savings. We put all of our money into visas, and we've got debt, so it's great. Anyway. Great. So I think we spoke to your mom and we mentioned, we're looking at a program in Scotland and considering going over there for uni. And she at the time was dating somebody whose best friend lived here in Scotland. And so he's like, hey, I'll connect you with my friend. And then it happened to be someone who's connected to Justin's family as well.
Yeah,
anyway, it's this whole connection. So we already know them, basically. We knew them, or they knew them. So yeah, Justin and I, we made a trip over here by ourselves in 2016.
Yeah, May of 2016.
Just checked it out. We checked out 2 different schools. Was at Aberdeen and Sterling.
Yeah.
Robert Gordon and Sterling. And then like we felt good about both of them, but we decided to apply for Sterling because it felt a little bit more family friendly. Like they had family housing, which we didn't get in, but
yeah, it was also closer to kind of those people that we had connected with.
Yeah.
So if anything had happened,
we had some sort of connection.
We have a church community as well that's kind of worldwide, so we're kind of able to tap into that. So anywhere you go, you can find kind of a family away from family.
And honestly, like we wouldn't have survived without that family, like that support system here.
Right.
Those 2.5 years we were here for first program.
Yeah, we probably would have just done the program and then went home.
We wouldn't have even made it through the program, I don't think. I don't know.
Maybe not.
Anyway, so yeah, he did that program, and we wanted to stay, and he was applying for jobs, but at that time with our visa we had to leave the country. We couldn't just stay. Like now they have a graduate visa it can roll into, but they didn't have that then. So
you can stay an extra 2 years on the graduate visa now. So
he could not.
But I could not, so I didn't even get to walk.
He didn't even get to walk in the ceremony, which is so sad.
For my master's degree, we went back to Missouri at the time, and I locked myself in the basement for 6 weeks finishing my dissertation.
Yeah.
But yeah, kind of why we chose Scotland was based on faith too. I mean, we're definitely faithful people, and we believe
that we can be led, and that there's a right place for me. Like, maybe there's places you're supposed to be. Maybe it doesn't matter, but maybe something would be better for your family. And we felt like it would be good here. Yeah,
we kind of looked at like good, better, best type way of looking at life and making choices. And at the time, the only time we had ever lived outside of like a basement of a family member was going down to Texas, and that like just crashed and burned. So like I was actually quite disheartened and wasn't sure
like how we could survive without living with family.
Yeah, so like sometimes you feel like you're being guided, and then I was like, well, why did we go there and that crash and burn? But you know, thinking back to the night that I had kind of looked at programs in the UK and whatnot, I just thought, I had this thought come to mind of like, you know, sell everything you have and move to Missouri and prepare to move to Scotland, which I don't usually get thoughts like that come to mind. I know some people will think that's foolish, but I mean, it's worked out so far.
I mean, it was hard for me at first. Like I was a little up in arms about it. Like, you want to take me away from everything I know, and we're gonna move to a totally different country, and so I didn't have the best attitude at first. It took a little bit of.
I think it's taken you a few years to actually. Like, even when you were living here,
it's harder for me
it's tough
than it is for Justin.
She's much closer with her family, though. I kind of laugh at times. She's like, "Oh, we live now." If you know her family, she's got 9 siblings, and they're spread over the entire United States. One's in Vermont. There's others down in like
they're
Virginia,
very spread out.
Georgia, Indiana, and then you got Nevada, Arizona,
Utah, just like everywhere.
Just everywhere.
But like I'm close with them. But the hard thing for me is like when people get together, like even his family, they all live like in the same state basically. They get together for every celebration, holiday. Here's another train. So my family, or his family, gets together a lot for all sorts of celebrations, birthdays, anything. And it's hard for me living in another country watching that. Because I know even if we lived in the States and we lived in a different country, lived in a different state, depending on what state we lived in, it could be something we could drive to. Like even if it was a 10-hour drive, if it was a big holiday, you could still drive for 10 hours and go see them. Like it was hard for me.
A massive deal. Like
it is,
living over here, you telling someone that you're driving 10 hours to go somewhere, they look at you like you're
like it was hard for me this last weekend because my nephew got baptized, And one sister drove 4 hours to go to my brother's house, be there for that. Another sister
yeah.
drove 9 hours.
Alabama.
And
Set of
yeah. So like it was just, I'm really glad that they could get together and we were able to watch on Zoom and sort of be a part of it, but it still was like, you still have that longing sometimes that you could be in driving distance.
Who lives abroad can have that at times.
But it doesn't really seem to bother Justin. Like you don't really
say
much. Like you seem fine that we're on our own little bubble, which in some ways is really good. It strengthened our family, but there's still moments when I'm like, I really wish we could share this with our other family members.
I mean, not a whole lot of family have come over and visited.
It's really expensive.
Yeah, my little brother's gone. My mom's really good at coming. I think
like pretty much every year.
She's coming in July, and it'll be like her 4th or 5th time coming over out of 8 years. So like we've been here since 2017. So yeah, she's made it a priority to come out, but then that's also given her an opportunity to kind of see Scotland and all that it has to offer. I think we were talking about it the other day of like why did we stay? You're therapist. You're talking to
I'm in therapy. Yeah, and that's
she
something
deals with anxiety.
That's something I'm trying to figure out. Those like, why do we want to be here? Why do I want to be here? Because when those thoughts come, like I want to be near my family, then I kind of get depressed, and like I can't just live my life like that.
Yeah.
And like when I talk to family members and different people, I do realize there's a lot of really great things about living in Scotland. Like I really like the primary schools and wearing the uniforms and how school hours are less than the US. Like my nephew catches the bus at like 6:55. He's like 7 for school starting at like 7:30, and school here is 9 to 3.
Yeah.
I really like that. I'm not a huge fan of the high schools here. I wish there was a middle school. But I really like how like the food in general is cleaner. Like we do feel safe here. I do feel safer here than some places we've lived in the US, which is really nice.
Yeah.
We really like that it's close to Europe, that we can travel. I mean, right now we can't really because we're skinned. We've spent so much money on visas. We don't have the money to travel right now.
You can check out our video on visa fees that we've already made there. But
we've done a lot of traveling a couple years ago with the little kids, so there are lots of good things and positive things. Really great people here.
We've had 2 little kids here, and it's been, I think for me, I said that I just kind of feel content here, if that makes sense. Like, sorry, peaceful. We're going another train. So yeah, I mean, for me, I just feel content here. My personality sort of mixes better over here. I'm pretty sarcastic.
Like the dry sense of humor.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's British.
I think. Yeah. I remember growing up and being like a young adult and having friends go, or people that would meet me, they would go to my best friend and say like, they don't understand me if I'm being sarcastic or serious or whatever it is. Like sarcasm just kind of flows out of me.
Yeah.
And so over here, it's a little easier to people get it. They just understand the sarcasm, but. And also, it's just a slower pace of life.
It is a bit slower pace of life, which is nice.
People they want to be successful and they want to have success in their career and things like that. But at the same time, it's not the only thing that they care about.
He's getting tired.
Yeah, is he getting tired? So, yeah. I mean, that's essentially why we chose Scotland. There's a lot more details to it, but.
That's basic. Okay. He's done. Okay, we better go. All right. Next time. Bye.